Hi, Vlad.
Super.
Hi,
Hi.
Vlad. Thank you very much for joining Shoes in Bitcoin.
Sure. My pleasure.
It's a huge pleasure to have you on site here with me, remotely from Bulgaria, me in Italy. So, Vlad, I'm really curious to know who is Vlad Dramaliev and how exactly did you start your journey into the Bitcoin rabbit hole?
I mean, right. So I should speak in English. So yeah. So my journey actually started. The journey generally could be said that started before Bitcoin, with my intention or my willingness to kind of find an interesting new asset that could be traded. And this new asset was actually emission allowances, so CO2 emission allowances. At that time, that was like 2013. Those were well, kind of developed, but still in their infancy. So I I found found some capital to invest in those, and I was investing in those for some time. Generated like very small profits, but still like I didn't lose money. And but at some point there was this friend of mine called Nikolai Prisolsky, who like was visiting Sofia, and he um, yeah, rang me up and said like, would you like to meet up? And I at that time I haven't seen him for um, like I think 5 years. So I was very interesting, and he was a very close friend of mine during the my childhood. And yeah, when we met, he was talking about various stuff, and one of these things was Bitcoin. And at that time, like the first time he told me about it, he showed me some websites, and I was like, yeah, that sounds interesting, but I mean, it's just like a geeky thing. He was also he was always into some weird stuff, which made him very interesting. And he has always been very interesting, and yeah, basically not following the mainstream. But yeah, the first time I learned about Bitcoin, I wasn't that interested in that. Um, and then he said that he's developing this exchange called Bitcoin.com, and like would I like to also join this project with him so that we can co-found it. And yeah, I said yes. Okay, let me sow my emission allowances to get this capital back, and maybe I can put that capital to work with Bitcoin. And this is how I entered the Bitcoin rabbit hole. And yeah, ever since then I started reading more, because I was also taking care of the blog, so I was creating content. So in order to create content, I had to do research. So the more research I did, the more interested, the more interesting it got, and the more interested I was in Bitcoin. I really was like, I got really fascinated by the idea, and I thought that like this is something very unique. There's something that is not available anywhere else, and this technology has some serious potential. And yeah, after that, like long story short, from that on, like at some point 2014 we separated with my friend. He continued to develop Bitcoin.com, or to manage it. I established coinfixer.com, which is a similar, it's a service basically for exchanging Bitcoins for Leva and vice versa. But I also added a few other coins to the mix. And then 2014, a bit later in the year, I founded bithope.org, um, with which actually it was um, uh, my idea to kind of show this positive, or the different side to the technology that is behind Bitcoin, or that Bitcoin is, that basically that technology could be used very efficiently, very innovatively for donations. And this is what BitHope does. It provides um, an additional source of donations for participating charities, and basically enables very, very high level of transparency. And I still think that donations are a killer use case for Bitcoin and blockchain, public blockchain networks in general. And I think the charity sector is beginning to be a bit disrupted by this innovation. So then in 2016, Yanislav Malachov was just some guy that another person met me with here in Sofia in one of the co-working spaces. He was doing a Bitcoin meetup. And then yeah, I thought that this is really the thing that Bulgaria and Sofia needs, some place where people can go and ask questions to professionals, or at least semi-professionals, people who are into Bitcoin, like enthusiasts, so that they get good information about like what Bitcoin is, and kind of can build an opinion on the topic, refraining from what the media is showing or reporting on. And that's how Sofia Crypto Meetup started. Actually, this he called it Sofia Crypto Meetup, and I decided to take this idea and to develop it. Together with Ivo Vasilev, we organized meetups, and that was 2016, the beginning 2016, actually January, and since then we have organized 47 meetups. So this month will be the 57. This month will be the 58. And then I have also been part of a layer one project called Eternity, which is, I think the technology behind Eternity is really, really great. Yeah, I think I was super excited by the project. I think it's more scalable and generally, yeah, better suited for storage and exchange of large amounts of liquidity, of capital. But I guess, yeah, the network effect wasn't that well developed. We didn't manage to develop it very well, I guess. And then I went into DeFi, which was really, I thought that DeFi would be the next big thing. And this kind of happened. And I think the primary idea behind DeFi being very interesting is the fact that it provides something tangible that users can use, like a real blockchain application that users can use in order to address a problem that they have, without resorting to a centralized services like that. And finally, and sorry for this like being quite long, but that's like 8 years. So and there's so much like other things that has happened that have happened during this time. And finally, yeah, I'm now part of MetalX, which is a decentralized commodities derivatives exchange, a spin-off by Fetch AI, and it's a DeFi project. So yeah, I'm quite excited to be part of the team. I really wanted to be part, and yeah, this is exactly what I like, where I want to be currently. So yeah, again, sorry for the long intro, but yeah, just so many things.
Perfectly splendid. Thanks. Thank you for this information, Vlad. So, actually, you're one of the most famous people in Bulgaria and the most credible ones. And if you just type in Google Bitcoin and Bulgaria, the first name that's popping up, it's your name. So it's
Yeah.
a pleasure having you here and talking about Bitcoin. I'm really curious to know more about the crypto community and the Bitcoin community in Bulgaria. And that you have mentioned you've already performed 57 meetups so far.
Yeah.
So it's quite a long time. You have built that community from scratch. I don't know other people who, whether someone has tried to do something in parallel in that direction or it's only you.
Yeah.
But I would love to know more about Bulgaria and Bitcoin and all these crypto meetups that you're organizing.
Yeah, so there are a few Facebook groups also dedicated to like blockchain, apart from Sofia Crypto Meetup. But Sofia Crypto Meetup is really, it's more of a, it's the only one that has an event that that has been happening monthly. and it's an open forum. It's a free event. We don't even like collect emails for joining or anything like that. So it's a very open event in the spirit of cryptocurrency, with the sole goal to like educate as much as possible the people who are interested. But in terms of like what the Bitcoin community is like, I think as any other community, we have a lot of traders, we have miners. So in the past, we had Bitcoin miners. Currently, I'm not sure if there are many Bitcoin miners. I think the miners are primarily mining altcoins with GPUs. Apart from that, I'm super happy to say that we have a couple of companies that are providing blockchain related services. Maybe not that much like related to Bitcoin, but yeah, of related to, I guess, Ethereum, smart contracts, and even enterprise blockchain. Um, Apart from that, yeah, we have a couple of studios dedicated to improving. Actually, yeah, some of these companies that develop blockchain applications um, are kind of open to all kinds of blockchain projects. Other a bit more interested in really developing the idea behind Bitcoin, which is based on like anonymity and trustlessness and decentralization. So they're a bit more, so to say, like looking into things a bit more philosophically, which is also great. So yeah, we have these business guys and these again business guys, but with a good following the Bitcoin ethos. And throughout the years, we have had numerous different guests. We have had um, Giacomo Zucco from the Italian community joining, and that was very interesting. Actually, we did an extraordinary a meetup for him because he was in Sofia. But I think yeah, we have like Bitcoin maximalists, of course, people who don't like believe that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency, and everything else is just noise. Um, I'm I can't say that I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I can't say that I am because like for me, the like the blockchain idea is being developed further currently by these other projects. So Bitcoin, I think, uh, is staying unchanged for a long time, and that's great for him because like for it, I guess, because it needs to be robust. It's the biggest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, so it's like it's the first cryptocurrency, so the mother coin. So it doesn't need that much improvement to happen in it to be successful, I think, because it's just the money, the technology of money. And I think it's Bitcoin is really the um, yeah the epitome of digital money, and doesn't need that much updates, although we have taproot coming, which brings a lot of interesting things. It will help the lightning network to improve. But apart from that, I think Bitcoin is great as it is, and that's great. But what I'm interested in also is to see developments, like to see applications of this technology other than money. And I think that's where like that's why I'm also interested in Ethereum and other layer one solutions, which are in like very like innovating, and I think taking the idea of Bitcoin a step further by allowing this various different applications, like creating this general computing language, programming language, which like in Ethereum, let's say Solidity, and this virtual machine that allows the creation of basically any application that the user can think of. And I think this is really where the innovation is currently happening. And of course, it's a bit dirty as usual, but and there are hacks and there are some imperfections, but that's why it's innovation. Like innovation cannot be perfect. So I think the sphere of DeFi is actually the continuation of the Bitcoin idea. I think Bitcoin was the first DeFi application, and what we have now on Ethereum is just a continuation. And yeah, I'm quite excited about this space. I hope that with Taproot and with the improvement of the smart contract functionalities of Bitcoin, we will also see a DeFi ecosystem develop on Bitcoin. And I see that there are a couple of projects already doing that, and it's quite exciting to see. But I guess the network effect still is quite, it's not that developed, and it would be great if it could be developed further. So yeah, the community here, I think, is developing just like the sphere has been developing. More interesting people are coming from various spheres, so it's very diverse. So yeah, it's exciting times as usual, especially now since it's a bull market.
Right. And especially, do you see, for example, during this pandemic situation, more interest from the people? Do you see any particular
Mhm.
direction or increasing of the amount and the headcount of people who are joining your events? I
Yeah,
assume you're performing them now more remotely rather than on
yeah.
face to face.
So yeah, the pandemic definitely had an effect on financial markets in general and on the economy, like global economies. And this and I think the biggest effect would be the basically unlimited money printing that is happening, and this is exactly what Bitcoin was created for. And I think that's one of the reasons behind the um, the increase of the value of Bitcoin that we have seen in the last couple of months. And this increase in value in itself. So the pandemic kind of resulted in money printing, and money printing resulted in um, appreciation of different assets, and one of those assets is Bitcoin. And I think it became very interesting. An interesting asset due to the fact that he has been out there for more than 10 years, has been stable, hasn't been hacked, very high security, and so on. People started taking it more seriously, and the other reason was that, like, it's just the inflation in the Bitcoin system is completely foreseeable, predictable, and also there's only it's limited in terms of units of Bitcoin that will ever exist. So yeah, any type of asset like that is, I think, becoming more interesting in a world where fiat is just being blown out of proportion. Um, so this kind of this whole thing led to the price increase of Bitcoin, and the price of increase of Bitcoin led to more interest in blockchain in general, and like in Bitcoin, of course, but other cryptocurrencies as well. And yes, we definitely, during bull periods, we see more people entering our like meetup, like the Facebook group, coming to the meetup events, which are online. So they're basically joining online the events. So yeah, we see more exuberance, more excitement coming from people. And that's usually how it goes. In 2017, I remember when the meetups were done, like in a local co-working space. We had so many people that there were people in the corridor, yeah, basically listening to what we talk about from 10 meters away, trying to hear what we are saying. um, and we kind of see this happening now. um, I think it doesn't have a strong effect, like that much of a strong effect on participation in the online event, but I see a very strong increase, or significant increase in the numbers of people who are joining the group. Um, and I think the reason behind the online event is just that there's so many different online events, and people just don't want to stay in front of screens the whole day, and yeah, are just generally not that interested in online events, because it just, in the last past year all events were online, and there is this I think fatigue, online event fatigue.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so this is how the pandemic kind of affected it. I'm looking forward to actually making the events physical again once this is over, because I much more prefer a physical event than a digital one.
Yeah, I think everybody prefers physical
Yeah.
physical meetups, and really to
Yeah.
have this face-to-face contact and to build a connection with the people. And I hope we're going to go back to normal, but with this vaccination and stuff. So let's not discuss these things.
Yeah.
Not complain of our expertise. But Vlad, you have mentioned lots of also companies in Bulgaria, and I know I see in the network that really there are several big players that are positioned out of Bulgaria.
Hmm.
And I'm really wondering. So it looks like we are a small country, Bulgaria, but
Hmm.
on the other side, there are lots of companies who are positioning their projects out of Bulgaria. And
Hmm.
I believe there are lots of Bulgarians who are working in the crypto industry. And so, what do you think in that direction? Could you please share some insights in that
Yeah.
direction?
Um, so I think Bulgaria is well situated to kind of produce talent in the sphere of blockchain cryptocurrencies, because we are just a great place from a technological point of view. We have like fast internet. We have developed startup communities. We have computer literate, so to say, population, young population as well. Um, so yeah, I think the fact that Bulgaria is kind of a digital leader in the region will help it to become also a leader when it comes to blockchain technology. And yeah, we have a number of companies that are quietly quietly operating from Bulgaria. Um, I recently was informed that Binance is looking for marketing managers here in Sofia. I know that Crypto.com is here as well. We have
Revolut, I
um,
think they have also Revolut something.
yeah, yeah, Revolut, but that's not really like real crypto. It's just yeah, like a contract for difference. But still, it's quite useful for newbies who just yeah, want to install an application and then play around with trading cryptocurrencies. And don't care about like decentralization and being their own bank and so on. Um, and yeah, when it comes to Bulgarian companies, I'm a big fan of Hack BG and Milan Radkov. We have LimeChain, who are also going, yeah, in both direction, public and private blockchains. We have Industria, who are like fully focusing on Corda and R3. And then we also have Nexo, who are one of the largest CeFi lenders out there. And they're, yeah, I think quite popular all around the DeFi space. I see their ads all around the different, like in CoinDesk and Coin Market Cap and all of like the other popular, yeah,
Yeah, I
like
see
websites.
Bulgaria becoming the hub, the European hub of crypto and Bitcoin in general.
Yeah,
Maybe
well, I
we're the
mean,
small Switzerland, like.
I guess becoming a hub is something that in order to happen, I guess the government really needs to push in that direction and focus heavily in developing this type of talent and infrastructure, I guess, and like focusing specifically on funding this like blockchain focused projects in the country. So yeah, I think hub kind of sounds a bit too optimistic, but we can definitely develop a strong, and we also already, I think, have in a way developed a strong crypto community, which continually growing, and people with different interests are joining it. Like not only traders, but people who are interested in building building different applications.
So how many
Yeah.
people do you have currently in your group in Facebook?
It's almost, it's, I think 5,900 currently. And there are a few questions that we ask people before they join the group. And if they don't reply, we don't allow them to join. So yeah, I've actually declined many different people, but still the growth is happening, and yeah, it's I'm quite happy to see. I think we started before the bull run with about 4,500, and yeah, we've grown almost 2,000, with almost 2,000 people in the last couple of months. So yeah, the bull
40%,
market does that.
40% increase. Yeah, great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
And you
quite
have
good.
mentioned the government, so just earlier, but thinking about that from institutional perspective, is there any interest in Bulgaria to know more about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, and institutions like?
Yeah, I'm. I don't think there is much interest apart from the National Revenue Service. Yeah, which are interested to clarify, I guess, what
Mm,
how trading of crypto assets is. Um, yeah, is
mm.
like
Yeah,
what tax regime is it's under. Um, but apart from that, I don't think that any of the major parties are looking into cryptocurrency in a way, either as, for example, a way to organize elections over a yeah, public medium, like public infrastructure, or as some kind of a, I don't know, diversification strategy, like to include crypto in pension funds, for example, or yeah. So they're not. I think they're not interested in crypto at this point.
at this
Uh,
point
uh,
of time, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Not much. I guess also the law enforcement agencies is kind of looking into what's happening in terms of money laundering, but yeah, I don't think crypto is very suitable for that purpose anyway. But yeah, so no, I haven't. And actually, today in the group we have discussed, we've played around with the idea of of launching our own party, like the crypto party, and there were some
Ah,
suggestions of how this could be funded, and
like a political party, you mean? So crypto
yeah,
anarchist
exactly.
political party.
Yeah, yeah, because you know the Bulgarian electorate, the people who are voting are always looking for, like, looking into these new alternatives. If it's new, it should be great. If it's different, it should be the one that we should vote on. So
Yeah,
yeah,
having in mind the fact that these machine
yeah,
that they
devices.
bought
Yeah.
from, yeah, the devices they've bought, and that actually during these elections, last elections, which has happened 3 days ago, hasn't been
Hmm.
used that much by the people, because there is
Hmm.
kind of fear, maybe. I don't know what's the reason exactly, but the reality is that Bulgaria has spent lots of money to have these devices. And
Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to governance, I think the problem, like doing elections, like in a digital form, um, I think the problem is it's not that much which technology would be used. I'm not sure if these machines were connected to a public blockchain, let's say, if the result would have been different. To be honest, I think people were still not that convinced that these type of results cannot be manipulated. And also, yeah, when it comes to a public blockchain system, it might be very expensive to do that. So if you calculate how much gas will need to be paid per person to kind of, if we assume that one transaction is required for making a for voting So it might be expensive. I guess it's still not being that expensive, like as expensive as the amount of money spent on these machines that broke down.
Yeah.
But still, I think they're more. I think the first step is to kind of feel comfortable by like doing like voting digitally, or using machines for voting. And then the next step will be to kind of think about like which is the best technology that could eliminate any concerns related to transparency or vote manipulation.
Right. And we have to also consider the factor that the people who are technical, the people who are in this environment and do really understand the technology, they're not fearing the technology. And from the other
Hmm.
side, we have lots of people who are not that experienced and
Yeah, the majority.
automatically, yeah, in their brains, the first thing that pops up is, oh my God, it can be manipulated. But
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
facts and the reality is completely different. However, everybody needs time to assimilate and to understand the things.
Yeah.
So it's good that there are people like you who are just doing their best and are not
Hmm.
giving up during times when people are just questioning the technology, which is
Yeah.
actually not only the future, it is the present moment. That's what's happening to us.
Yeah, exactly. So we are trying to be a voice of reason when it comes to any yeah legislative changes. Actually, the Sofia Crypto Meetup community managed to prepare a position on the upcoming markets in crypto assets regulation for the European Commission. So we kind of did our part. We
Oh,
decided to push things in the right direction there. So let's see if they'll consider it. I've seen a couple of other positions that we have, like we're sharing similar thoughts. So yeah, it's the Bulgarian government hasn't really at this point trying to get in touch to get any clarification from us on how these things should be managed or what they can do. Should they fear them? Should they ban them and so on? um, they're usually taking or copying whatever legislation is coming from the European Union. So
mhm.
that's why we decided to kind of go to the source and hopefully, yeah, uh, yeah, move things or push things in the right direction from there, so that the when the transposition of directives and regulations happen here, it's more favorable, or at least hopefully it's more favorable due to these activities on our part.
Right. Okay, Vlad. So I have a very, I'm not sure, maybe you are exhausted, you will be exhausted, kind of exhausted from my next question, but I see it's
Hmm.
very interesting and everybody is discussing it nowadays about the non-fungible tokens, the NFTs.
Ah,
What do
nice.
you
Yeah.
think about it in general? Is it something that could really substitute auction companies and platforms like Christie's, or it's just kind of a
Hmm.
bubble that it's
Yeah.
happening now?
Yeah, it's an interesting movement or subculture that it has developed in the last year. Actually, it
Mhm.
has been around for longer than that, but it really has exploded in the last couple of months. And I think what's happening currently in crypto are a couple of bull markets. So we have the DeFi bull market, we have the Bitcoin bull market, and we also have the NFT bull market. And if we have to talk about like overheating, I think the overheating currently is happening only in the DeFi market, because things are getting a bit too ridiculous in that point. I mean, I'm generally I'm a big fan of NFTs, and I think they have a future. And I believe that a small number of pieces, digital pieces, original pieces by popular artists, possibly also like companies, will accrue a lot of value. But the majority of pieces will not be able um, to provide a return on investment. And I think um, some people are actually trading NFTs with that goal in mind to buy it at one price and then sell it for with a 5x 10x profit at some time in the future. And I think this will really happen, but it will be only for specific very unique pieces. um, and yeah, one other aspect that it's kind of worrying like it's worrying me is that um, so the actual files, like the pictures, the videos, the gifs or the gifs, are actually not on the blockchain and they're somewhere else. Usually, I think IPFS, but I think other hosting services are also used. So if you buy an NFT and then yeah, after some time the hosting service just disappears or doesn't store your file anymore, so you're left with basically nothing. And I think the majority of NFTs currently, apart from very few NFTs, and a good example here would be CryptoPunks, are not really pure blockchain assets. They link to something outside of the blockchain that could easily be attacked or more easily be attacked. And then, yeah, apart from that, I think the NFTs are really a movement that will not really die off. I think they'll be subject to the bear cycle as well. So there'll be the activity there will be um, will go down, as usually happens in the crypto space. But I think they represent a new medium, a new art medium that will continue to exist. And I think everything that can be digitalized or tokenized or have some digital form that is that is scarce will go on chain, and this includes art pieces. And we have already seen people buying pieces of art, scanning them, then burning them in the real world just so that they create a digital asset based on them. So an NFT that represents them. So it's not only actually for paintings, let's say, or some digital art, but I think it will be used for, or it's being used for music. It's being used for virtual real estate, and that's very exciting also. Um, and I don't see this trend dying out. It might look ridiculous in a way, um, but
I
this
see lots
irrational
of people.
exuberances.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
Interrupting you. I see lots of artists actually are gathering themselves in not only in Twitter but also this new clubhouse thing that
Mm-hmm.
so, and they're discussing actually opportunities and workarounds. They're discussing what is this NFT, because the people right now maybe are feeling kind of limited, having in mind that we are all locked and they're not capable.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yeah, this is definitely pushing things forward. People are basically stuck in front of their monitors and they need to entertain themselves.
Yeah.
So they're going into crypto, trying to learn trading. Let's say some are going into NFTs, and yeah, trying to. It's great because anyone can be an artist now. You can create that as something at home, some crazy piece of art, or maybe just like a one piece that is like yellow, like a yellow square. I think I saw this. Someone was selling these yellow or purple or whatever colorful
Mhm. Yeah.
squares.
Mhm.
But I think it's not about really if the person who is creating the art is crazy, or that he expects that this piece will be it costs a lot. But I think it's more of the person on the other side willing to pay for that piece, that is kind of like making this interaction possible. So
Yeah.
what I like about NFTs, and something that is very different from DeFi in the crypto space, is that they are very very subjective in terms of what their value is. So in the world of crypto, you know exactly how much one unit of Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever costs. and everyone knows its exact price due to the market. But in the NFT world, you might have the most ridiculous, crazy piece of let's call it art, that like 99% of people will look and say like, this is like, how, I'm not ever buying this, and whoever this is crazy. But there's like 1% of people who will find or consider this basically brilliant, and they will be willing to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
So this subjectivity, I think, will not be that much affected in a bear market, as for example, like cryptocurrency, fungible cryptocurrencies are usually are affected. So yeah, we'll have this there for a long time.
Yeah, there are other lots of people arguing what's the value proposition, whether you really can, whether it can be considered as art, etc. So,
Yeah,
so when there is demand, there is
exactly.
a
If there
supply.
is a market for it,
Right, right, definitely.
the market doesn't care what you think. It's just, yeah, people buy strange stuff and they like strange stuff. So yeah.
Right. That just to go back to the community in Bulgaria, I'm really curious to know, are there any ways or any specific things that you are advising the people to read or to do just to protect them? Because you know
Hmm.
better than me that this world is can be very scummy and
Yeah.
in several
So
forms. Mhm.
yeah, always tried to not sound like when I'm doing a presentation and talk about crypto, not to sound like I'm trying to sell something, because I'm really not trying to sell anything. I'm trying to push people to kind of educate themselves, or like use this initial knowledge that I'm trying to communicate as a foundation for their as the start of their journey into crypto. And I've I try to whenever I'm talking about crypto and prices, um, to make it very clear that I'm not giving financial advice, and that 100% of whatever you put in crypto could be lost. So people should be very, very careful, and they usually shouldn't be day trading or trying to day trade, due to the basic fact that I think 90% of people who are trading, not only in crypto but anything, lose money. So if you try to time the market, or in any way try to guess where the bottom or the top will be, there is a very good chance that you'll get burned. So my suggestion usually is just buy a very small amount of crypto, and that will kind of push you to follow the news, to because you have to reach an explanation, or get an explanation of why your 100 leva, let's say, are now 60 leva, let's say, or 200 leva, and in this way, little by little, you will start to kind of dig deeper and
Yeah.
understand the sphere
Because
better.
Michael Saylor bought 158 bitcoins several hours ago. This is the
Ah, really? Yeah. Well,
no,
the 15
this was
million. Yeah.
yesterday. This was yesterday, by the way. He has announced
Yeah.
that yesterday or 2 days ago again that he bought a very big amount,
Yeah.
150, something like that. I'm not.
Yeah, 15 million. Um, yeah, so I guess he is continuing with his Bitcoin purchases,
Mm.
which is generally something also that I am kind of suggesting when you're doing when you're going when you have decided to invest in crypto. Um, don't do it at one large goal. I mean, just try to space it out, like buy a small amount every month, so that you kind of remove this volatility from the market. So you're buying when it's expensive, when it's cheap, and you're getting this average price of the asset over time. Although this is kind of a good advice in a it's a better advice for a bear market. In a bull market, usually it's like the advice is go with your full amount at one go. But I think this in any market, this is very, very risky, especially if you're trying to do a quick buck or a quick profit. And this is the other thing that I'm trying to communicate to people. Like Bitcoin is always a good investment if you're looking over a horizon of at least 5 years. It doesn't matter when you'll be buying it, in my opinion. So I think there's a very high chance that you will be in profit after 5 years. But if you're looking to make a profit in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, one year, then yeah, you might have a harder time in achieving this. So yeah, these are generally the advices that I'm giving. And maybe I'm trying. I sound a bit too pessimistic, but I think it's good to start with pessimism in mind than with irrational exuberance in mind. Like I'm buying this and I'm becoming a millionaire next month. So I don't want to get people overexcited about it, so that they, yeah, basically sell their apartments and buy and go in.
You know, it's like that. By the way, I saw in Sofia crypto meetup group in Facebook, you have posted several days ago your interview from I don't know, many years ago,
Ah,
six.
yeah, 2014. Yeah, yeah,
During that time, when they took the interview from you, you were actually Bitcoin was down, and you
yeah,
lost some amount of money. You were saying from the very beginning that you have to invest only that you can afford to lose.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I've been saying this for 8 years now.
right.
Yeah, and also, yeah, I was talking about mining because I managed to mine Bitcoin. I actually mined 7 Bitcoins by myself
Then,
using this
so,
like
Ant mine,
ASIC.
Ant.
No, it was an ASIC machine by a Swedish producer, but unfortunately I forgot what the name was. But they were like cutting edge at this point, at that point
Good one,
actually.
that
And
low maybe. To
KNC miners. They were KNC miners.
Mhm.
And the best thing about them were two things: that technology was really cutting edge, and the second one is that they delivered on time. And we know that this is very important. um, but yeah, afterwards I had to sell these bitcoins so that I can launch BitHope. Because I didn't have any money. I was yeah, quite poor, to be honest. um, but I'm not sorry for it. Never been sorry. I knew that this might possibly happen in the future, but yeah, I thought that, yeah, founding BitHope is very, very important, and I still this is like one, perhaps the most interesting project that I have myself launched, basically on my own. It's
What
still
are
going. Yeah.
what are the initiatives you are currently gathering funds for?
There are several initiatives currently. We are trying to, yeah, basically to helping a center which is dealing with environmental law. We are helping to build um, um, what is like an educational center for children with autism. And we just recently finalized an initiative that kind of helps kids basically to develop character based on like good historical examples. So we tend to support um, initiatives that cannot really get to a very serious a source of funding. So basically smaller campaigns, because we can't promise large amounts of money, but we can, when we deliver the money that has been generated, we we want, like, on the other side, to be some kind of appreciation felt, because if we support a large charity as UNICEF, yeah, it will be just a drop in the water. And at the same time, we don't want to spend too much on marketing and on operations, and we want at least 95% to go to the final beneficiary. So yeah, one of our biggest campaigns generate about 60,000 leva. So this is about 30,000 euros, $36,000 for breast cancer, a breast cancer initiative. So yeah, I think for the whole period we have managed to generate like $110,000 from only by Bitcoin donations, which for such a small yeah, NGO like ourselves, I actually feel quite proud of it.
Definitely.
So yeah.
And you have to be not just a few people are actually focusing on such
Yeah,
gifts.
yeah.
So,
Very few people are actually doing that, and I'm not sure exactly why. There was BitGive in the United States, and now there is another charity that is quite big in the States, but I haven't heard of any other ones, to be honest. So yeah, and I think BitHope was the first one in Europe that actually launched um, like on the first Bitcoin focused crypto charity in Europe. So yeah, quite proud of that as well.
congratulations, Vlad. Very good
Yeah.
initiative. And furthermore, you are not using it, as you have mentioned, for any marketing purposes, because
Hmm.
unfortunately, there are lots of people who are misusing the idea or misleading people just to gain other benefits from.
Yeah, exactly. And we have tried with BitHope to kind of make it as transparent as possible. So one part is actually the blockchain where you can see all of the donations generating, like what is the amount there. So we are extracting transparency, so to say, from the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain. But then on the other side, when we are distributing the donation, we are also trying to be as transparent and possible as possible by uploading various documentation for the bank transfers, for the exchange of bitcoins to Leva, and yeah, in some cases we're just sending the bitcoins towards their beneficiaries, but and that's easy because you can see the transaction on the blockchain. But yeah, there are two
Cannot,
sides of
not
transparency,
convert
and
it on their own, so they need support in order to
yeah,
go out from.
yeah, most of the charities, they want to receive leva, like fiat currency.
Mhm.
So we provide this service as well, but yeah, we're trying to be as transparent as possible. So BitHope is not something we're generating money from. Actually, it's the opposite. I for years I have funded the development or the existence of BitHope, and I plan to continue to do it as long as I can.
My admirations, keep it up, Vlad. And
Thanks.
just if you allow me, because you're running a little out of
Hmm.
time, I don't want to hold you that much. But if you would like to share with me your future goals and plans, how you see yourself and in general all these projects you're working on in the near future, I would
Hmm.
appreciate directly.
Yeah, sure. So what I'm currently focusing on are actually I'm working on a number of things at the same time. So one is of course the Sofia Crypto Meetup, one is BitHope, and one is this yeah, basically the project that I'm currently supporting, which is MetalX. I'm also starting to support another project, which is again a spin-off of the Fetch AI company where MetalX is coming from, which is called Atomics. And that project is focused on bringing real-world collateral, real-world assets to be used as collateral for loans in stablecoins. And I think this is the next big step in crypto. So the basically the tokenization of real-world assets. Because currently, if you want to get a loan in so to get, for example, stable coins, you have to provide cryptocurrency collateral. And this is kind of counterintuitive to some people, like why would I need cryptocurrency to get cryptocurrency? So I think what we will witness in the next few months and years is the development of this regulatory regime that enables more efficient tokenization and possibly a decentralized economy of people, of companies who are helping this process of tokenization various real world assets. So basically, you have a bike. You go to a person. They provide you with an estimate of how much this will cost, and then you can immediately take some USDT, USDC, DAI, or whatever, and use that real world asset as collateral for that loan. I think I'm quite excited for this, for the future of this. In terms of yeah, so my projects, as I said, MetalX, we have just launched a live version on Binance Smart Chain, and the fact was the reason behind this is just the fees. The fees on Ethereum are just ridiculous, and we don't believe that people will start using this product, like testing this product, even if they have to pay like $70 of fees. So we were looking forward to expanding this further. We have partnerships coming. We have announcements. Hopefully, different exchanges coming. So you know the standard process of building a community, basically, or even an ecosystem around Fetch AI with these MetalX and Atomics projects and other projects. For Sofia Crypto Meetup, to be honest, it's sometimes it's too much work on the background of all of the other work that I need to do. So I'm planning to kind of try to figure out a way to identify a person or persons that could help with moderation and help with the organization of the events. Because you know sometimes I cannot be at several places at once, and you know my wife is also kind of like working too much. You have to chill down a little bit. And in terms of BitHope, I don't have any plans on doing anything more special around BitHope. Um, Possibly do a little uplift of the website to move it to something that is newer, but that's a could be quite a large project, and yeah, for that I'll need some more time. So yeah, I was actually in BitHope. I introduced alternative cryptocurrencies, but it was just too hard to manage the different wallets. So I'm sticking to Bitcoin for now, because you know that's what BitHope is really about, enabling Bitcoin donations. So I don't plan to go in the direction of alternative cryptocurrencies anytime soon. So yeah, this is it, and I think the biggest goal, I would say the most important goal for me would be to kind of go through a bull market, manage to accumulate some funds thanks to coin appreciation, and possibly take some time off to do whatever I want to do, to be just to not be on a computer the whole day. And I think this is like the fundamental thing that for me is most important, and my primary goal. So just to be with my family, and yeah.
To be on a place like your background. This is what.
Exactly, with my wife and my kid, and just not have a something to be constantly thinking about, because you know the crypto space is very fast paced. So yeah, so we need time to kind of relax and enjoy life. It's not everything is capital or money. So yeah. This is
Definitely
it.
what, and it's wonderful everything that you have shared with me. I wish you lots of luck with all the initiatives. Bear me in mind if you have any need
Sure.
for help. I have my own projects, so we're not going to talk about it right now. But yeah, I'm open. So it was a huge pleasure talking to you
It was a
today,
pleasure as well.
and thank you. Appreciate it and keep in touch.
Thank you. Keep in touch as well.